So you want to learn a language, but you don't know when, how, or how much you should be doing. In today's video, we're going to be talking about how to set up a successful routine as a language learner, something that you can stick to every day, every other day, and something that will make sure you get to see results over the long term. My name is Rawlings. I'm a polyglot. I've studied about 15 languages, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking to you about my method for learning languages, which I call the 15-30-15 routine. Think about the amount of free time you have, all of your other commitments, and think of this as a 3-month project where you're going to try and make a commitment to yourself to sit down and study a language regularly. After those 3 months, you can decide what you want to do instead, but those first 3 months are really, really important for making it a habit. Depending on how much time you have, you might be able to study every single day, you might be able to do every 5 days, or you might be able to only do every 3 days. It doesn't really matter that much as long as you're keeping up that kind of rhythm. Every 3 days is better than once a week. I'd say 3 days per week is the minimum, but if you can manage 7 days a week, why not do it? Just remember though that if you push yourself too hard, you are in danger of burning out and then in danger of kind of getting bored of your routine and then maybe not wanting to go back to it, which is not setting yourself up for success in the long run. So the next big question is, how much should you be studying for? Now again, the key here, I think, is not to sit down and try and do everything in one go. Instead, try to break up your time as much as possible into manageable chunks around your day. The ideal amount of time you should be studying a language for each day is probably about an hour. But that doesn't mean that it needs to be 1 full hour without a break. Instead, what you should be doing is splitting that up. And that's why we call this the 15-30-15 method. We take that hour and we split it up into 1 session of 15 minutes in the morning, 1 session of 30 minutes of study, maybe just after lunch, and 1 session of 15 minutes again in the evening, maybe just around the time that you would eat. That way, you manage to fit in an hour of study each day, but that's the beauty of this method. Just studying for 15, 30, or 15 minutes a day might not even feel like you're studying that much. But believe me, if you stick to that 3, 5, or 7 days a week, it will add up and you will see results. So our next question is, what should you be doing in that time? Now, the first session of 15 minutes that we do in the morning, this is kind of when you're waking up, your brain is still sort of half asleep. So again, don't overload it. Just sit down for 15 minutes, and rather than trying to learn anything new, instead just use this as a review time. Just sit down and remind yourself of whatever you were studying the day before and whatever you may have forgotten while you were asleep. This is just an easy way to ease yourself into your day of language learning. After your 15 minutes are up, put everything away and carry on with your day. This is the time where your brain takes over and subconsciously sorts through the information you've given it. It'll decide what it's going to remember and what it's going to forget. If you're using a language learning app like Rosetta Stone, for example, this is the perfect time to use the review mode to look at units you've already done and just try and remind yourself of the progress you've already made. Your next study session around lunchtime is where you sit down for 30 minutes. Now this is the point where we actually push our brain a bit more and we try and learn some new information. Look at new grammar structures, learn some new vocabulary, have a little work on your pronunciation, anything that's pushing your brain to a slightly new place. Again, you really don't need to overdo this. Just do this for 30 minutes and then once that 30 minutes is up, put everything away and let your brain sort through that information until the evening. When the evening comes around, it's time for our third study session of the day. And again, this is another 15 minutes, bringing us up to a total of 1 hour of study for that day. But again, we're not doing anything new here. This is your first review of whatever you studied at lunchtime. Just look back over things, remind yourself of what you were learning, and then put everything away and go to sleep. Get ready for the next day. When you wake up in the morning and you have your first 15-minute session of that day, that's when you're reviewing everything the previous day. So the rhythm goes like this: 15, 30, 15. Review, study, review, review, study, review, review. The reason why this approach works so well is because it should be manageable for you, even if you have a busy schedule. By reviewing everything twice, you should really feel like you're making progress and really absorbing the new information that you're learning each day. And of course, this method is really effective, especially if you manage to stick to it every week and stick to it for the first 1 to 3 months. But by the end of those 3 months, sitting down and doing this as part of your weekly routine will feel like second nature, which is setting yourself up for success in the long term as well. So how do we make this a habit that can really stick? One of the best ways to introduce a new habit to your routine is to attach it to something that you're already doing anyway. For example, every morning I take about 15 minutes to drink a cup of coffee. That's the perfect time to be sitting there and reviewing whatever I've been learning the day before. And because I drink coffee every day, that means that I'll probably do my language review every day as well. I also take about an hour's break for lunch every day, and it only takes me about 30 minutes or so to eat, which means that I'm still left after that with half an hour that I can use for language learning. Yes.
안녕하세요.
안녕하세요. Every evening I'll get home or I'll stop working, and that's the perfect signal to send to my brain that it's time to sit down and do my other review of 15 minutes of whatever I've been doing that day. There are plenty of other activities that you can combine language learning with as well. For example, doing laundry, ordering a takeaway.
Hola. Hola. Gracias. Hello.
Feel free to have fun and be creative with setting up your routine. Just remember, the most important thing is being realistic, consistent, and enjoying your language learning experience. That way you'll be setting yourself up for success in the long term. Learning a whole new language is not something that can happen overnight. It's something that we do gradually through dedication and determination. So don't beat yourself up if you don't see the results right away. Just remind yourself that if you stick to this plan, then every day you'll be able to look back and realize that you were a little bit better than you were yesterday. Thanks for watching this video. If you found it helpful, please like, share, or leave a comment below. If you're looking for a new way to learn a language, the nice people over at Rosetta Stone have set up a special link with big discounts on their subscriptions just for you guys. You can access that page by going to rosettastone.co.uk/Alex Rawlings. Feel free to get in touch with me and let me know how it's going. See you next time.